All we need is one viewer, and we're gonna kick
Okay.
it off right. Um,
Okay.
but let me see here. Greetings, everyone, anyone, everybody out there in Facebook land. Apologize for being late. We had a little technical difficulty making sure everybody was on correctly. We're still waiting on uh, um, Nia if she's coming on. But right now it's myself and Miss Ash, the two representatives that are running for District 3 and District 7. Once again, we're going to wait. There we go. We got somebody on there. Hey, somebody that's joining us now. And so, like I said, we're here to talk, to give some eye-opening, to receive some eye-opening questions and possibly give some eye-opening answers, and possibly take a little time to explain some things that we were asked over the period of time, because this is new for me. And Miss Ash, this is our first time running, and she's, like I said, she's running over there in District 7. I'm running in District 3. And we just want to take time to address our people, just our community, about any questions that you may have asked, because I know a lot of you don't get to make it out to the different podiums that we have been we've been attending. And so we just want to, like I said, take some time to address our community in a way that we know how, and that best suits us as new runners. Make sure not only that y'all are being heard by your questions, but our voice is being heard, because a lot of things, like I said, we're new to, and so we definitely want to get out there and address self. Ms. Ash, you got anything?
No, just really introduce myself. I'm Lakeitha Ash, and I'm seeking to represent the area for District 7.
Okay. Ms. Ash. And of course, I'm DeMarco Johnson, and I'm looking to represent District 3. And so we are neighboring districts. So we definitely want to keep in touch, and keep in tone of what we're running for and how we're going to collaborate, because it's going to be a collaborative effort. Definitely, I can feel that energy just by the energy we have now and being able to communicate amongst each other now. So, like you said, if you're on here, you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the box and we will answer them. But we're going to start off by just some of the things that we've run into, that there's some questions that we may have amongst each other, some things we want to talk about after being in the position that we've been in. So some things that we just want to address, and we don't being a lot of times when we're at the forums, we have time limits, and being that we're not politically sound right now with our political answers, sometimes we don't get all the way through. So and get to say what we want to say. So that's why we're here today, to say what we got to say and allow you to ask any questions that you may want to ask. Right?
Yes.
That's
Correct.
right. So here we are. So some important things I want to touch bases on real quick. Tomorrow starts the first day of early voting. The first day of early voting. So please get out there and vote. Take advantage of the early voting. Let's not wait till the last minute. Let's make sure we get out there in enough time so we can and make sure, first of all, before you run out there, make sure you're doing your study and your homework on who's participating, and who's in position in running, and do your homework on the individuals. Take advantage of the early voting. Early voting would be at Citizen Center on Macon Road. That's where you do your early voting at. Now, if you wait till the 24th, you have to go to your district and vote in those places, in the designated areas in your district, right?
Correct. However, you have two additional locations. Shirley B. Winston is also a location, and then
early voting.
Yeah, for early voting, and then also the one out on got to look that one up. But it's actually 3 polling locations for early voting. Okay.
So we'll get with you the other place for early voting, but make sure that you're taking advantage of that. We don't want you to get we don't want you to wait till the last day and get frustrated and not vote. So we definitely need your votes out there, because your vote matters, your vote counts, your vote is a part of the change that we need. You know, like my shirt said, don't post about it, vote about it. You know what I'm saying? Don't just, so get out there and make sure that you're voting. If you were registered last year, you should be good for this year. If you moved, you might want to make sure you check your precincts if you moved out of your district. But make sure you get out there and vote. All right. Keith, do you know is it the 10th, the last day for a mail-in vote to receive your mail-in?
13th.
The 13th. Okay.
The 13th.
So the 13th is the last day to register to get your mail-in. Make sure if you're a mail-in voter, make sure you go ahead and get that done. The process is a little different this year. So make sure that you get out there and get what you need so you can go and start the process of early voting. I mean, of mailing, sending your mail-in voting.
Yeah.
All right. Anything you got to add? Oh,
No,
I can add. Go ahead.
No, and then also if you're having problems getting to vote, sometimes just call, just text, or however, whatever means possible, because there are people willing to get you to the your precinct or one of the early voting sites or your precinct. But definitely don't wait to May 24th, because as we've seen from time past, you might have issues coming up that last day, issues at the poll. If you have issues with your voting precinct or card or anything, that gives you a chance to find that information out before the day of and get that corrected so you can still vote. That's my biggest message, is just get out there and vote.
It is. So do you want to drop info about your event tomorrow that you're having tomorrow?
Absolutely. Are you able to put it in the live there, or am I able to, or you want me to just
do it? I can shoot it up to myself. Send it in the messenger and I can grab it real quick and I can post it up. But tell them, you want to tell the people about.
Yeah, actually tomorrow I'm having a candidate support rally at Thelma's Kitchen on 3250 Victory Drive. It's just going to be real quick, just give you some important information, and just a rally, just to do an quick announcement. And I would love to have all supporters, all family, friends, anybody just want information or just want to hear my heart, just come out and support. But that's tomorrow, Monday, May 2nd, at Thelma's Kitchen at 3250 Victory Drive at 10 a.m.
Okay. So real quick, thank you for everybody that's logged on. Again, if you have any questions, family, please feel free to put them in the comment box. She's representing District 4. District 7. And I represent District 3. So we're both.
We already have
any questions.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me correct that. We already have an awesome city council in District 4. No, I'm going for 7. Right now, the seat is up for grabs. Our current counselor is retiring after this year, so I'm seeking to be that next representative to represent District 7.
And that's a good way to start. So how does it look? How's this looking for you? We're both new. I mean, I don't know if there's a pure plan for somebody that's coming out new, but how's it looking for you? How's it on the grounds? How's it look in your eyes? How do things look?
I had a call coming through, so I totally missed what you were saying.
I was saying, how does it look? How does it look for you out there on the ground, one-on-one with the people in your community? How do you feel? How does it look to you?
You know what? Like I've been saying the whole time, I came in this with such a passion. It wasn't about a name. It wasn't about getting recognized. It was just doing what I already do.
Right.
I'm already an advocate. I'm already, I already listen. I'm already approachable, available. I already do these things anyway. My purpose for running was to just be amongst the people who make those decisions that are being made on my behalf. Right. I can't do too much more if I'm not amongst those people. So as far as how it's looking, I've already won. Just the knowledge that I've gained, just the experience, just what I've heard, the connections, the collaborations already that I've gained, I've already won. So as we've been saying the whole time, this is a win-win. I'm not going in it as, hey, what if you lose? It's no what if. I've already won. So that's how it's going. Yeah, that's how it's going for me. I can't speak for anybody else, but in this race, I've already won.
There you go. And I will echo what you just said, because it's not about the recognition of anything it's just about the positioning to be able to help somebody else with the tools that you don't have. You know what I mean? And I believe that position provides some extra tools to already help in the areas that I'm already assisting in.
Exactly.
And so that's the biggest thing for me. But as far as on the ground, man, I love it. You know what I mean? Being out there amongst the community and just learning different stuff about different people that you don't know about, in your community, seeing the different things, seeing the different faces, the way people react, the responses to some certain people. They know that you've actually been in places that your feet hasn't trodden yet. That's the most remarkable thing to me.
Absolutely.
To know that your name has already been there amongst different people before you even get there.
Yes.
And that's like that's the coolest part to me is that that part happens. That God has allowed that to happen. So so let me ask you, what's one of those questions that that it's kind of still sticking with you amongst the people? Not even talking about the forums. What's one of the questions that's amongst the people that's still sticking with you?
Well, one of the things has been, I think, just like any other district or the city at whole, one of the biggest things that people are speaking about is safety issues, crime issues. So that's every conversation, every day I'm out, every single day. I've been going out. That's been just like the number one topic. What are you going to do about the crime? And I just in turn said, what are we going to do about the crime? This is not on me. This is on us. I can't go out there. I'm not a trained official to go out and fight crime. All I can do is be the ear, the voice, and gather together and come on, let's get together. Let's start these different things to combat crime in our community. What is our crime lacking? What are those tools that we need to come together as a team in the community, in this district, to help take our city back? I've been here, like I said, for about 22 years now. I moved here back in 99. Officially, I looked on the voters website the other day just to make sure I was straight out there again in an anxious type thing. And I saw on there, it says, I've been a registered voter within the same District 7 since January 2000. And I'm like, wow, just the longevity, just the commitment to be, in the same district that I'm seeking now to represent for such long speaks volumes to me. I don't know if it speaks volumes to anybody else, but it's not like a up down. It's not like an in out. Not only have I been registered voter in this same district, I've also lived in this same district, maintained consistent residence, worked, as well as both of my businesses. All of my businesses are located right here in District 7.
Tell them about your businesses. Tell them about that, because that's a big thing in our community is economic growth, both mine and yours, and it's really the economic growth of the citizens that actually live in there that really keeps the area vibrant. What I mean? Because we don't have a lot of economic chain growth in our community, in our inner part of our community. For example, when you look at District 3, if you look at the total map of it, what I try to get people to look at is that we only have one chain restaurant that sits in our community. We only have that Church's Chicken. That's the only economic chain that we have in the community. Everything else we lack in the inner. We lack inner economics. We have outer economics, but we don't have inner, which drastically affects everybody's household, because you don't have a lot of places where you can just go get a job. What I mean? Where teenagers can get a job. Everybody fighting over Church's Chicken. That stays in the inner part of it. Now, when you talk about the outsides, the Winton Road, the Victory Drive, St. Mary's Road, things of that nature, we have outer economics. We don't have the inner. How's it look on your side?
Yes, well, I agree. Right now, we have two main companies that we're functioning out of, with my husband and my family and everything. One is we have a full-fledged print shop right here in District 7 on South Lumpkin Road. It's called As He Leads. We do all full print, banner signs, T-shirts, anything you can think of, that could be printed, labels, stickers, anything. Pins, if you think it, we can create it. That's what we do right here. You don't have to bypass, and that's the message that I'm trying to get out for District 7. We have so many gifts within the district itself. You don't have there's been a lot of talk about bringing different type of companies in. I say, hey, let's tap into what we already have here. Because many days you bypass a print company and out of District 7, minutes away from you, and drive several minutes out to an office store. When those resources are right here in the district, and we do
Right.
quality work. It's not just up, down. You don't have to wait for your services all the time, and
So you made that
it's not
shirt.
those. I'm sorry.
So you made that shirt.
Absolutely. We embroider, screen print, embroider, whatever type of print. And it's not just, we're not in a box. And we also sell the products. We have a lot of people came up with pandemic businesses, or maybe I shouldn't say that, but businesses during the pandemic.
Right.
So they do a lot of crafts. You have a lot of t-shirt businesses or craft businesses that started up. So not only do we do those services, we also sell those items for you to do those services yourself if you so choose. But many people come into the store with the intentions on buying the merchandise to do their own services, and they see the quality work that we do, so they just contract us out to do their services as well. So we do that. Another business that we have, we just acquired it actually last year, is a Black-owned beauty supply store. You don't have many of those here you have none here in the district at all. But I don't even think it's too many Black-owned, full-fledged beauty supply stores in Columbus. So that speaks volumes. But we've had one before in a different state, but opportunity arose last year where we were able to purchase a full beauty supply store here in District 7, right next door to the Piggly Wiggly. On South Lumpkin Road. So we offer all types of hair and beauty needs. A lot of people love their wigs or whatever you desire. We offer it right here in the district, minutes away. You don't have to drive way out, to whatever beauty supply to obtain those services. But another thing that I want to touch on, since you asked me about businesses and districts and different things, a lot of people don't even know what their district is.
There you go. That was my next question. Go ahead.
Okay, because District 7 is such a large and diverse district.
Right.
I can sit here and explain all day long and call out some of the areas, and they'll be like, that was part of District 7 also? Such as
Bibb City. Tell them.
Yeah, such as Bibb City. We have District 7 has a piece of Bibb City, the historic district, District 7, uptown or downtown as I call it, District 7, Piedmont Hospital, all that area behind Piedmont Hospital, District 7, Midtown, the Piggly Wiggly right there on 13th Street. Yes, that all the way behind that, all the way going back towards Talbotton Road is District 7. You have Fort Benning, the outskirts of Fort Benning over here on this area, down Torch Hill Road, the backside of Fort Benning, all that is District 7. South Columbus is a large part of District 7, including Oakland Park. Oakland Park is so large, and that's District 7. So if I called out anything all the way down Victory Drive, I think we split with Victory Drive there.
You
have
got
one
the
side, I have the...
That's right. Yeah. If you're coming down 185 and come down Victory Drive, District 7 is the left side, District 3 is the right side, up until North Lumpkin Road. Then you jump back across the street. So you got the left side of North Lumpkin Road. I got the right side, side, which is very...
and I was getting there next. I was going to call out North Lumpkin Road because I've been knocking on doors there to make sure they know they're in District 7 if you're on the left side. Easy way to, I have people to remember that. If you're on Captain D's side, you're in District 3. If you're on Victory Mission side, you're in District 7. All the way down, right there at the fork in the road, E. Canning, we call it. All of that is District 3. So as you can see,
E. Canning's your side.
I'm sorry, District 7. I got it out wrong. It's District. Did I even say that right? Captain D's side is District 3.
Side, you said that right. So District 7, Canning's a part of District 7.
Yes, when you're.
Because I thought it was a part of my side too, and then we had to go back and relook at the map. I was like, oh no, it's the side. Okay,
no. When you get to the fork down at the end of North Lumpkin Road, where you can go towards, I think that's Niecy's Barbecue down there, Dawson, Casita Road, all that begins to be District 3. Now, if you go left, that's District 7, all the way down, even Martin Luther King Boulevard. down that way, YMCA, all of that area down there, the police department, our police department, the Synovas, all of that is District 7. So as you
Right.
can see, District 7 covers a large ground. So if you're in any area that I just called out, know that you'll be voting for me. I'm not
That's
giving
right.
you an option, but so you will be voting for me. But that is District 7. So I think it's very important just knowing what district you're in. And if you don't know, there's a you can actually go to the Secretary of State website, the same place where you go to register to vote. I think
Right.
it's sos.ga.gov.
Right.
And click on there, get your precinct information. Where do you go to the poll at? Get your, voters. You can actually print out your card from that website, and it'll
Right.
tell you which district you're in and who represents you.
Correct. Okay.
I'm
So,
sorry. Go ahead.
no, you good. You good. We good. So, I mean, same thing here. District 3 is a dynamically, economically diverse district. If you, just as she said, District 3 is, we hear South Columbus and we think that we're an economically deprived district when you just say District 3, and we're not, because number one, just because of the neighborhood doesn't mean that that person is economically deprived. That's first thing, because I know in my neighborhood, I see in the Dub on 7th Street, you have a lot of people who have done a lot of great things that are living well, and this is where they choose to stay. Have we been devalued in some areas? Yes, we have, and that's in all areas. You can ride through Green Island Hills and see some devalued homes over there.
Yes.
And it just depends on the individual who stays in that home and their level of self-expectation. So I would just say that. But District 3 starts at Cherokee Street, which is a street that borders Lake Bottom, and up until 17th Street. Then it falls back all the way towards Bunker Hill, Benning Hills. I got all the hill areas, so my calf muscle is going to be good and strong by the time we get finished with this campaign from walking up and down these hills. But we neighbor all, like I said, Bunker Hill, everything to the right side, to the graveyard side of St. Mary's Road, everything to the left side of Victor Drive, like we said, with the Walmart going all the way up to 185. If you go on 185 headed towards St. Mary's Road, everything that you roll over is District 3. So District 3 is very big and dynamic. Like I said, Bunker Hill, you have a population of young adults that's probably between, my age and, still working, still getting raises, military, things of that nature. Then you have in the middle, you have a differently diverse, because you have people that retire on their way to retirement. Some of them just are just enjoying life. And then you have, some of us that still working. Then you do have some lower income areas that's in the middle of it, the kind of sandwiches in the middle. So we do have a very diverse. We also have the two large high schools in our area. We have Spencer High School, and we also have Carver High School. So we definitely encompass a lot into District 3 when it talks about diversity of income, when it talks about diversity in population, because we also share with District 7, we share a large Hispanic population, a lot of large Hispanic businesses in our area, churches and things, neighborhoods and things of that area. And so we definitely encompass a lot of different ethnicity in our area, which is really beautiful for our area, because it's like you can go somewhere and get some of everything. You can go somewhere and get some good food at a Hispanic. You can ride down the street to your side and go to Rose's and get some good Jamaican food, or you can shoot back over to my side and go to Thelma's, and we just have a lot of great things that's going on in our area that could really use some economic impact. There are a lot of things that like the ARP grant that came through. I want to say I've passed it out to about 75% of our district. Small businesses, and the biggest, after going back and talking to any of them that I've spoken to about it. It's a great thing. It'll really help out the community. It really help their business. But the hurdles and that you got to go through to get it done is they needed money just to get it done.
But I think that an important part of that too, and I'm sorry not to cut you off, and funds are still available for that ARP grant. But I think the key thing with that is an educational type thing as well. You know, a lot of there's not only the ARP, but there's several different grants and resources out there.
Right.
But a lot of people don't know how to get those or how to set up an appropriate business to get those funds. So even, you know, with them not being able to qualify for the ARP at this time, still just, you know, connecting with those small businesses and training them on how to set up their businesses appropriately or properly to start obtaining those funds and those fundings or resources or whatever it might be. So that's important. I just wanted to throw that in there just to let people know that funds are still out there available for that ARP. It's not too late.
Okay.
But,
is it, I mean, your business only, were there ways, is there something you can tell anybody that may be watching, may watch later, anything about ARP grant that may help them streamline to help them out a little bit more?
Well, I haven't personally, from my end, I've just personally been just sharing the information, but I haven't personally went on and applied for it at this time. And it's just because of the campaigning, not to say I'm not going to go on and hopefully funds don't run out and I can go on and attempt to do it. But the biggest issue that I know of quite a few people were stating that they faced is if they started their business during the pandemic, they don't qualify for it.
Right.
Because you had to have your business prior to March of 2020. So if a lot of people say, well, I just did my LLC or I just did my, you know, business or whatever you form of business you started. If it was prior to March 2020, yes, you can definitely qualify for those. And with grant, it's not like the PPP funds that many of them just went out there and, you know, received during the pandemic. These funds don't have to be repaid. These are, you know, funds to assist in your businesses in the different avenues. So that's the biggest thing before you even go on there and say, hey, well, I'm gonna jump on here and do this. If your business just started this year, no, you're not going to qualify for it. But that doesn't mean you don't qualify for other programs that's offered out there within those, you know, within the CARES money or pandemic money or however other programs that's out there.
Okay. And same here. One of the big things that I did find out that the biggest thing, if you can't figure the paperwork out, kind of focus on your rent. Focus on the rent. Yeah. You know, that was something that you should have been, if you were paying or received help on, however it went, that's something that you should have been able to keep a monthly documentation on.
Yes.
And so I was told that if you can't figure nothing else out because you just weren't able to keep nothing up, focus on the rent aspect of it. Focus on how you paid your bills with your rent. And that's something that you can retrieve through that pandemic money in order to get your funds back. Family, again, if you have any questions that you want to ask me or Miss Ash doing this forum, doing this sit down and let's talk, please feel free to type them in, and so we can answer any questions that you may have as far as us being candidates. We're open to anything you might have to ask. All right. Ms. Ash, I'm gonna start here real quick. We're gonna break the ice with the questions like, okay, where have you been? All right, where have I been? You know, where have I been to that best fits me for this job? I'm gonna start with myself. Where have I been? Because a lot of forums we've been to and a lot of questions we've been asked, some of that gives you time, but a lot of times we don't have enough time to answer it to the totality. So people can like, oh, okay, I can see where that matches up with what we got going on. So me, I start off with myself. I start off with my work history. Work history that prepares me for this job and what we have going on as a community. One of the biggest topics in our community is mental health. We talk about mental health a lot, about how it's affecting our communities, our homes, our schools, and our prisons. There was a number given out by Countryman, what it was 16% of the police of the residents at the county jail was. You got that paper with you?
I got the book.
Okay. Wow. So yeah, it was the percentage of people that's locked up. So where have I been that it helps with mental health? I did work for New Horizons. I worked for New Horizons as a social service tech with developmental disabilities. I also worked with New Horizons as a substance abuse counselor, a mental health counselor with in the substance abuse department. So with that experience, that helped propel me to help better understand what mental health looks like. What are some of the signs of mental health? How to help treat some areas? What are some of the questions that we could ask to help move forward? We're getting that person in the right place. I'm able to communicate and know where some of these resources are. And know where the resources are. Know how to get the resources to the people. By the relationships that I have had and established in working in that field. So that mental health aspect of it, yeah, it's a part of something. It's something that I worked in. Also, many of y'all may or may not know I worked in corrections for 13 years. I started off at Stewart Detention Center in Lumpkin, Georgia, which is a federal immigration facility, which house detainees who they consider to be legally entering the United States. I did that for 10 years. So I'm used to working with the diverse group of people, be it the residents or may it be the people that we contracted with, because ICE facilities are contracted through the federal government through ICE. And so a lot of times things would change, rules would change, and we would have to work accordingly to make sure it works in our population. So diversity and inclusion of others is something that comes naturally because that's where I worked at. This is part of where I work. Also to include mental health, because you're dealing with mental health, not with just one race of people. You're dealing with it in different ethnic groups, and you get to see how people respond in their culture versus just my culture alone. I was able to see that. We're able to work hand in hand with it, not only with the residents, with ICE, but also with the nursing staff and the local hospitals that we would take them to. I remember my first trip to the Bradley Center was Thanksgiving 2006. And I stayed there for literally 24 hours because we had somebody that came in that needed some assistance. But that's a part of it. So within those 10 years of working there, and I later on went on to Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma. I did work private corrections, so I was able to transfer within our private group to another facility. That facility was Cimarron Correctional Facility in Cushing, Oklahoma, which was a maximum medium high facility. That maximum medium high facility held the same gang format as California, because Oklahoma kind of mirrors California, where that's where they migrate to, versus how we do in Georgia and Florida. We migrate up north, they migrate that way. So we had the same variations of all the gangs that you would see: the Hoovers, the Bloods, the Neighborhood Crips, the Shotgun Crips. I also dealt with Serranos. I also dealt with Aryan Nation. I also dealt with the Irish Mob. And then I dealt with different little subgroups, the KKK. I've dealt with any aspect of any type of religious aspect. I've had to work with everyone. And we've all came out, I would like to say at the end of the day, we all came out successful at the end of the day. So working in those various groups, also dealing with mental health. When you got a lot of gang violence, being locked up internally causes mental health. They're looking at, even the officers who work in there, looking at them having PTSD because of the constantly, having to move around and things of that nature, and the door slamming and being in a locked environment. So it can cause mental health for a lot of people. So being able to navigate through that, work with that different population, working with the large gang population, that's who I was over when I was working in the prison system as a population in California, well, in Oklahoma, that reflected California. So knowing that environment, working with those guys that helped them achieve the goals that they needed to achieve so they could be successful in the community was a big part of my everyday work. I was a unit manager. Unit manager is like three. So you got the unit manager, you got assistant, you got the warden, assistant warden, then you got the chief, then you got the unit managers. So I was like 4 steps down below the warden. So a lot of what we did was to help make sure that the facility was running well and that we maintained our area of management. So that part played a great wonder, just knowing how to get out here and navigate through these different gangs, through different people coming with different issues. Like I said, even with the Aryan Nation, dealing with those guys, we developed a great relationship. I mean, I've actually been out in Walmart and, these guys with Nazi tattoos ran up to me and gave me a hug in Walmart because of the relationship we had inside the prison, where fair, firm consistency is what I reflected to everyone. Moving forward after that, I left Oklahoma and moved back to Georgia, where I was director one over at Metro RYDC, which is the largest YDC in the state of Georgia. And so we had more than one director, but where you have a smaller one, you just have one director. So at that one, we had 3 directors. So managing and operating in that formula, that family of that system of dealing with our kids in that area, and understanding why, getting the understanding of how they entered in there, how can we keep them out, and what keeps bringing them back was a big part of my daily functions, making sure they're getting what they need as far as education wise and just learning their backgrounds. But it's also the reason I got out of it. The reason that was the biggest reason why I got out, because I got tired of seeing them come in and not fully receiving the resources that they need to stay out. Kids are a lot different than adults. The adults have about a 6-month window of them going back to prison or staying out of prison. The kids only have a one day window, right? And their 1 day base. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I know. So yeah, their 1 day window. Basically, I've seen kids leave at 8 o'clock in the morning and be back at 5 o'clock in the afternoon with new charges, going through something new that's going to give them a longer extended time than they already had. So we just working in that field, and that's what made me say, you know what, I need to be on the outside to be more effective to keep them from going in on the inside. Because the bad thing about working in corrections on either field is that once that person leaves, you cannot talk to them anymore. And sometimes they need to talk to you because of the relationship that you have formed as a counselor, as a mentor, as a leader. They need to hear that leadership from you, and to give them a different perspective on how to look at the things that they're going through at that moment. So that was the biggest reason I stepped away from that line of work to come back into the field, come back into the trenches to see how can I be more effective here, so they won't even have to get there. Because one of the biggest things that I heard, especially at state facilities, dealing with the young men who have been involved in some heinous crimes and being involved in gang activity, they often told me, if I had known you before I got here, I wouldn't be here. And that played through 13 and a half years of being in corrections. I heard that so much, to the fact that I realized where I needed to be back in the community. So with that, also being a father, being a God-fearing man, and understanding where God has me at, is the biggest role. Being a husband, being a son, and just being a uncle of many. I'm an uncle to a lot of young men and young ladies in this world that see me as big uncle. So in knowing that what I must reflect to them that will keep them out of trouble, is the biggest part of that for me. What you got, young lady? How about you?
Yes, pretty much. This is a tough part for me. I don't like talking about myself and my accomplishments and everything. And so that's a challenge for me to get out of that. Even running for office has been, challenging for me. So, but like I told you earlier, when it comes to business and talking and encouraging or whatever, it flows freely. But I know a lot of people would like to know about me. So, outside of business, I also hold multiple different current license and certifications. I hold a family and life planning certification or license, where I sell life insurance, I sell auto insurance, health insurance, do complete financial planning. I do that, and I'm not only do that, I can do it in multiple states. Another thing that I hold is a holistic life coach. And I think that helps as far as me running and doing, this campaigning. Another thing that I hold an advanced phlebotomy degree. Back when I started off at 18, I was going into the nursing field. I never got through nursing because of the demanding schedule and the different clinicals and everything. So I just settled for back then phlebotomy, and it was quick money and easy, you know. So I was like, okay, I'll settle there. But over the years, I still maintain that certification. So that's also everything that I do or I have done. I maintain those licenses and certifications even 18 years later. It not only shows, you know, hey, she's consistently learning, you know, it shows that, hey, she's not above that. And it's something that I can tell other people and share with other people, you know, those things. I also love mental health. That's, you know, I started before I left Florida back in 1999, 1988. I actually started in 96 working for an office of mental health providers, psychologists, psychiatrists, licensed clinical social workers, and case managers. And at that time, I never knew the in depth of it. I just had somebody tell me, well, hey, you should, you know, this is something you should do, telling me
Right.
what I should do. And I didn't even know what I was already doing it. So there again, I had, after 4 different degrees, I changed my major to psychology. So I've always had a desire to do, like I said, nursing. So I came together and I was like, okay, I'll handle it psychiatric nursing. So I did, once I moved here, I completed my degree in psychology, my bachelor's degree with Troy State. And then I furthered my degree and got my master's in psychology with the concentration of counseling with University of Phoenix. And I'm currently, during the midst of all of this, have my am in a doctoral program right now, which I should be graduating if everything stays on course in 1 year, May 23rd or May next year, May 2023. Or no, yeah, May 2023, I will graduate with my doctorate degree.
Not
So
bad, Ash.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. But work history, I've worked with Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield in the managed healthcare field for the last 19 years prior to the pandemic. I stopped working there 2017, I believe, July 2017. Gave me the opportunity to advocate on the behalf of our customers via customer service, customer advocate, claims, adjustments, every department. And each department I worked in, you know, it was no sad story or bad story. I've always met goals. That was the easy part of the job. If anybody worked for Blue Cross or any major companies, they know as far as customers, that's easy. That comes easy to somebody who love people, genuinely love people. A lot of times the challenges come as far as internal, working with amongst, you know, others. So I think that alone, you know, working in the customer, advocating on the behalf of customers qualifies me as a candidate because it's something I was always doing. But just overall, just assuring that people know what they have. Throughout this whole process here of running for city council, everybody has asked me, are you an educator? Are you a teacher? So, you know, that's just been my role over the years. My mom was a teacher of 31 years. She was an educator. She, you know, was a librarian. So I think that just kind of rubbed off on me where I can, you know, encourage and educate and teach people. And, you know, the talking helps, you know, so knowing or loving to talk is a positive. So, but I'm just always consistently just listening, assisting, and advocating for people. That's what qualifies me. It's been a continuous process, and that's what I continue to do. So, like I say, hey, I'm doing what I want to do anyway. Just, you know, being able to listen and, you know, advocate and just assist in whatever area I need to. I'm already doing it.
That's what's up. So we do have one question, and I think we can.
Oh, okay.
Can you see it on the screen? Can you see it on the screen? On the
Okay.
screen?
Yes, I see it
Okay,
now.
so we do got one from Tanita, my wife. All right, and she says, "How will your past experience, passions, and community and desire to leave a legacy help you lead in District 3, District 7, and District 3?" And so, I guess we can summarize it real quick, based off of. You want to go first?
Well, no, go ahead. I was just gonna say, basically, I think I just answered that
Right.
question, and
And
not
so yeah,
even knew that
we
question
really
was
did. But
yeah.
to be targeted, our community is reflecting mental health. Our community is reflecting economic growth. Our community is reflecting crime right now. It's leading problems in our community, which also affects sanitation in our community. When you have mental health and stuff like that, you have crime, you have poor sanitation. You know what I mean? Because that's what it looks like. You know, people it's kind of, you feel like you look, so you want to feel like you poverty and things of that nature. You're quite sure your community is going to look the same way. So because that's the mindset of the person. But working inside the fields that I've worked in, the prison system, the mental health, dealing with New Horizons, not on that, and just being a nonprofit runner myself, dealing with that community, being a leadership coach, working in the ministry field, things of that nature. It totally encompasses what we have going on in our community. It's a reflection of that, of what we need to get through what we're going through. Because you do want to have somebody who totally understands that. Then you want to have somebody that understands that I'm not the end all be all. There's a we process to it. You know, the power of we, the process that helps somebody do something that they really can't do because there's somebody that may be in place. And that doesn't always look like a person that necessarily had to be educated in this area. It looks like the person that lives in that area, that knows how to affect the people that they're around. And that as a leader, I understand that. And as a leader, as a person of what I've been through, I understand that we have to be able to help empower those type people, you know, that can truly help our community. It may be that lady that just sits on the porch every day that can understand how to talk to those kids, you know, how to, you know, that may bring that person back. Then understanding that educating each other, educating one another. One of the questions that I was asked at the last forum is about mental health, you know, and how do we help our community? We have to educate our community on mental health. And it starts educating at home. A lot of stuff is missed at home because we bury stuff, especially, I'm gonna just say, in the Black culture. We bury stuff and say, well, he's just tripping, or he's just crazy, or he's, you know, his elevator don't go to the top, or he, you know, he can stop at the 13th floor. We got so many terms instead of the clinical terms that can really help somebody go get through what they're going through, or not recognizing the fact that, hey, this happened to uncle, this happened to granddaddy, this was on your dad's side of the family. You know, we label it so much other stuff to where it is when the child gets to a point where their top is about to blow and they're getting in trouble, we try to recognize it to be something, and it's too late. They're already in trouble. They're already locked up. They're already in, you know, in a place where nobody's willing to look at that aspect of it. They're not willing to look at the fact that, you know, a lot of people get diagnosed with mental health once they get into a position where they can't come back from. Once they get in prison and you get diagnosed with being bipolar, the judge is not going to go back and say, you know what? The lawyer can go back and say, what? Hey, he's bipolar. Can we get him out? That's the only reason he did it. You know, they're not going to do that. They're not going to say, oh, he's schizophrenic. We just found out after he did 5 years in prison, he got 20 more, but can we drop those 20 because he really didn't know what he was doing? You know, it's too late then. So educating that family on understanding what's going on, and like I said, opening that Pandora's box inside your household and letting those information out of what happened in our family. You know what I mean? Whether it's been 2 generations back or the generation at hand, we have to let our families know what's going on. If you see something, say something. And let's stop holding back information that can ultimately affect one of our kids, because you can ultimately, you know, I get the age bracket is about 23. They say that you can have a mental health breakdown where your mental health is supposed to expose itself if it hasn't done it yet. It's about the age of 23. But that's what they say. You know what I mean? Everything has a tipping point. You know, every day is a tipping point. So you never know. And then drugs and alcohol play a large role in those different areas. So the age may not make a difference. It may make a natural difference, but an unnatural cause can happen at any time. They can make you lose it. You know what I mean? So we have to be open to discuss those things. So then when you talk about economic growth, like I explained earlier, we have to see what our inner economics look like. We don't have inner economics. You know, we only have one chain restaurant that sits in the middle of District 3, Church's Chicken. Everybody can't work at Church's Chicken. Everybody can't get to the outer economics. Everybody can't, just because you stay in Willis Plaza don't mean you have you just have all the resources to get to Victory Drive. You know what I mean? They don't mean you have all the resources for a teenager. Adults are different, but teenagers who are the ones that really need these jobs or need this help, they don't have all the economics. The mayor said the other day, we were at an event, and he said that he can't believe that he's paying lifeguards $14 an hour and he can't get any lifeguards. All right, $14 an hour. The closest pool is Double Churches Road. Now, for those of you who don't stay in Columbus, Double Churches Road from the area that we stay in is got to be driven. You know what I mean? It's at least 10 to 15 miles from the central part of where our areas are. So the kids that would love to have $14 an hour sitting outside the pool with their shirt off or with their bathing suit on, enjoying the sun, laughing and having fun, they can't get to the job to even get the job. You know what I mean? Because it's way too far. Not to mention that you have to take a class that costs about $200 to even get the certification to be a lifeguard. That's another part of it that wasn't even dropped in the pot. So that's a big issue, that those jobs are there, but they're not obtainable to everybody because we don't have a local pool. Like I said, then the other jobs that are in our area are Family Dollars and Dollar Generals. That's in my area. That's in the inner city, inner economics, and we all know how that looks. You know, it's not conducive for everybody to work there. They don't have but like 3 or 4 people work a day. You know what I mean? So it's not conducive. So we don't have enough inner economics. So understanding that part is a big plus. So when we don't have that, that means we have to look towards the mom and pop economics and start looking towards funding them. And so they can be able to hire some of these kids that we have in our community, you know what I mean, that don't have an opportunity to get a job, you know, and being able to say, hey, how can we help you stay in business? How can we help you hire somebody else? And that looks like to me, like apprentice grants that we have in Columbus. That's offered by the WIOA program. There's an apprentice grant, WIOA, WIOA, Columbus Tech. We need to move some of that money down to South Columbus, not just using it for North Columbus. You know what I mean? Where the other branches of economics are. We need to move it to the economics, that internal economics of South Columbus, to help some of these mom and pops be able to hire some of these kids they see walking down the street that they can't afford to hire, but the city I don't know if they say the city, that the state of Georgia has allocated to each county in Georgia to be able to hire somebody to get them off the streets. We need to hire to the printing shop that Miss Ash has, so she can hire little John or Keisha walking down the street that needs a job, but she can't afford to hire him herself. So understanding that part about our economics, understanding how hard it is, understanding that we need to, our community that doesn't fully understand. There are businesses that have been in business for 50 years. They don't own their own building. And that's a problem, because you're still paying rent and you done bought the building 3 times over. You know what I mean? And that owner has, at any day they can make a decision to say bye-bye. You know what I mean? Regardless of how long you've been there. And so understanding that, hey, we have to invest in ourselves. You know, we have to ultimately invest as a total, as a community, to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. So knowing what's going on in our community economically is a big plus. Then understanding the difference between infrastructure, economics, and community economics, economic growth itself. That's a big plus. You know what I mean? We can't be blinded by numbers, hearing numbers and thinking that, it's doing something for our community. We have to understand that. Then going back to the last part is crime. I'm not saying I understand everything, but I've been around a lot, and God has given me the will to make a lot of changes in the places I have been with this, with his guidance. So being effective in that area, being the person willing to go into those streets and go into those places that everybody can't go to, is a plus for me. You know what I mean? Going into the, being in South Columbus, being in the trap, being at the gambling house. If I need to go there, that's where I go because, number one, I already have outer relationships with the people anyway. So, because I'm from the area. And so being able to go in those places to make an effective change within those people, that's just a plus. And then helping them understand the process of what it looks like that you're going into when you make these decisions. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't play the whole tape out. They play half the tape. Man, I'm gonna go down here and do this little time, and bam, I'm back in the streets. Yeah, it sounds good until you get there. You know what I mean? It sounds good until you get there. They don't, a lot of people don't tell the truth about what it looks like inside those facilities. They don't tell you that, you're not sleeping in the best bed. They're not telling you that somebody might be staring at you while you're on the toilet. You know what I mean? Because you're in the same cell together. They're not telling you that food is not always accommodating. They're not going to tell you when you get to the prison that you may be one of 300 that's not from your city and you're by yourself. Then you may have to choose a lifestyle that you don't want to choose in order to survive. You know what I mean? May it be gang life. May it be they make you a runner, somebody that steals. May it be a lifestyle that you never thought would ever cross your mind. But in order to survive, you have to choose it. You know what I mean? In order to live, you have to do it. And yeah, you can run and go hide, but you can't hide forever. You know what I mean? Because if you stick yourself in that hole all day, you're gonna end up talking to the person that's in the hole with you. And it's a one-person cell. So now you're dealing with another issue. So understanding those aspects of how it affects our community, how we can make a change, and then understanding it's about us. It's about we as individuals, the power of we. It's about being a reflection of the leadership that's in front of us. You know what I mean? Being a reflection in our neighborhoods. We want something different. We got to do something different. So that means as leaders, we have to do something different in our community as an overall perspective. That's what I got. What you got?
Well, I pretty much, not to repeat everything you said or not even go in and say it a different way. And I think it's simply put for me, I think the question was, how would that help in District 7 in that position? I think everything you go through is a lesson. Everything everything you've experienced in the past, like I said, right now, I'm already approachable. I'm already, attainable, accountable. I've already practiced those things to perfect those things. Even before going to say, hey, I want to be a part of the ones who's making the voice or the decisions for me. I want to be that voice. So I think in all of that was just training ground. And that alone will help lead District 7 by already going through things within District 7, by already, doing the things now, hands-on. A lot of people learn better hands-on. So I've been doing these hands-on things now. So once I'm in that position, I don't have to guess and say, okay, well, what do I need to do about this? Oh, so how do I handle this situation? When you're already doing it now, I think it makes it easier once you get into a position to move forward. You're learning what you're supposed to be doing. And then it's like you're able to hear those things or from your citizens of your area and then react on them in a way or in a better way. So I think that alone, just whatever you go through, using those examples to move forward.
Man. Okay. Hey, family, if you got any questions, please feel free to type them in. And if we can answer them, I mean, let us give us an opportunity to answer them. Thank you, Tanita. Thank you, Mama Barrow. She said, that's good. We're doing a good job. And so, man, so what are some difficult questions that you've been on different panels? Do you have any difficult questions that you asked that you had to go back and research and talk about?
Well, not so much difficult questions. It's just I did. I actually had a question just this past week in last Monday's forum. I was down with the historic district. A question came up was, do you consider our area a food desert?
Wow.
And, you know, a lot of people don't know what a food desert is. So I, you know, of course, the little bit that I knew, I just answered yes. Yes, I absolutely believe that we're in a food desert. And, you know, after the forum, I had one of the constituents come up to me and said, I'm going to tell that, and if you're watching, you know, I've already talked to you, and we've already went through this, so you already know my stance on it. But she said she was going to the district and tell these different various people that I'm calling them a food desert. And I said, no, I'm not calling the people a food desert. I feel like this area, District 7, is definitely a food desert. And I explained to her, you know, basically, I went the aspect of, you know, telling her about the different, you know, the very large and diverse of the district, and having a district in this, you know, this large and diverse, how obtaining those different fresh fruits and vegetables and things, that you're not able to just easily attain it. We have uptown right here that don't even have a supermarket or a grocery store right nowhere near them. So a lot of times we're losing that revenue in Columbus by them traveling across the bridge, you know, 5 minutes to the Piggly Wiggly on the Alabama side. So yes, that's considered a food desert because we're losing those resources right here in our district, in our city, and they're going to a complete different state. I know that's our sister state, but they're going over the bridge to somewhere closer to obtain those items. That's considered, you know, fresh fruit. And then not only that, after I got the answer, you know, or after I talked to her, I even further researched it. And I looked at a lot of the lotto stores that they're putting up. That a lot of these lotto stores are allowing our residents here to use their
EBT cards.
EBT cards. Yeah, EBT cards with the in their stores. They offer nothing fresh in that store. So while they're in there purchasing whatever they might be purchasing, whether it's alcohol or gas or whatever, they're getting all these unhealthy snacks as well. So yes, that's considered a food desert. So that's just my take on it. And I don't think a lot of people research these questions, or we don't get them. These are just questions we randomly get when we go to these forums. It's not like they send these questions to us and say, hey, you're going to answer this, this, and this, and we maybe can have some more guaranteed answers for them. But no, I by no means call anybody. You know, using myself for an example, I didn't know I was in poverty for years.
Right.
So, you know, how can I call somebody else a name and I was in that same situation? Right. Based off of an economic number. But growing up, we never knew we were in poverty. Great. We always been taught to, you know, little becomes much when you place it in the master's hand. Or, you know, you take your little and it stretch. We always been taught to be grateful. You know, we've always seen mama and grandma and them taking, you know, take their little and we all ate. So we didn't know we was in these same situations. So no, I can't sit here and call anybody anything, but I can teach you and educate you and train you how to come out, how to be, you know, get to a point of being successful. That's my goal. I don't want to be the first person to do something or the last person to do it. I might have been the first, but I don't want to be the last.
Right.
If you tell me, hey, I was the first one graduated school in my family. Okay, I might have been the first, but come on, I got all these cousins and everybody else coming through. I need you to get up here and get educated and graduate. This is how I did it, but it's better routes that you can go now.
Right.
So, you know, that's my thing. I'm not trying to, I don't look down on anyone. My mom always told me never to look down on anybody unless you're looking down to pick them up. And that's what I stand about. That's what I stand on. I never look down. You come into my store or meet me in the streets or wherever we're at. I'm not looking down on you because you know, the way you dressed or the way you look. Today is you. Tomorrow might be me. I'm gonna need that same picking up.
Same great.
Encouraging. So, you know, that's one thing right there that, you know, how in these forums where our words can take, and I'm not a thing of, my answers are always the long answers.
So well, that's why we're here today. Yeah. So that's why we did this today, because I am a long answer too.
So how do I span this answer into that 1 minute that they give you? And at the end of 30 seconds, you get a hand going up and you're like, oh, and then all the train of thoughts going from you. So it can be misconstrued like I don't know what I'm talking about it. But one thing I can say, I know what I'm talking about. Come in my store, meet me in the street and talk to me. You'll be like, I ain't gonna ever talk to that girl again because she talked too much. So no, it's not that I don't know. It's not, I know how it can come across. She's timid, she's this, she's scared. No, it's just the situation. So you have to start coming out and learning about us. Just like this this platform today has been good for me. This is probably the most anybody has heard me speak since running.
Right.
Come out and do live. So, I guess this would be, an avenue that I might have to start doing just to get people questions answered so they'll know, hey, okay, this is who we want to represent us.
Right. That's good.
She has been through some things. She does know, the area. She does know. She's right here with us.
That's right.
She don't stay out there in Green Island Hills. I couldn't anyway and be in District 7, but she don't stay up, in the uptown or wherever you
keep her money where she keep her money where she live.
Yeah.
Right.
She reinvests everything we get right here in District 7. We reinvested in District 7.
That's right. And District 3.
And in District 3, yeah. So
we have some property over in District 3.
We do. I have property right there in District 3 as well.
So yeah, you're definitely reinvesting back in our community. And that's one of the biggest problems. I want to read something real quick. So people can understand what a food desert is. It's an urban area in which it is difficult to buy affordable or good quality, keyword good quality, fresh food. Many poor people live in food deserts where they have plenty of food, but none of them are healthy. Right. That's the key part of it is obtaining healthy snacks, healthy food. You can go in, you can ride on certain parts of our town. You can go into the gas station. They got fresh bananas, oranges, and apples. Then you go to some parts of our area, and all you can get is blunts, beer, and lotto tickets. And there's nothing fresh going on. So that's the difference in that you're not able to obtain it. Or if you go inside. Our area has more Dollar Generals and dollar stores than it has grocery stores. The radius of our in my area alone, we have 3 grocery stores. We have 2 Piggly Wigglies and 1 Walmart. Now, each one of them lies on the outskirts of the community. None of it's inner city. So there's no inner city grocery stores other than Family Dollar, where you're going to buy processed foods, processed or frozen foods, canned goods and things of that nature. So they don't have access to fresh. So yes, we do stay in a food desert because we can't obtain the proper foods needed. Now, the Walmart is a Walmart that we share with District 7 and also other districts around us, but it's only one that's even in a 15-mile radius of the next one. Because the next one is going to be 4 exits up on Airport Freeway. Then the next one is going to be in Phoenix City, Alabama. And so it's about a 15-mile radius before we all know the difference in groceries between Walmart and Piggly Wiggly. We know the difference in groceries. We know the difference in quality. You know what I mean? And that's not all Piggly Wigglies, because some of our Piggly Wigglies are high standard and some of them are medium standard in comparison to what they have. We have some that have fresh hot food, that sell hot food in our community. You know what I mean? Then we have some that sells no food. That's the difference. If a person can go in there and get a hot meal for lunch, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you know what I mean? Each Piggly Wiggly in our communities don't have that option. That's an option that they need because there are no other inner economic food places to go, right? In their economic chain facilities. Now, we do have our mom and pop restaurants. I would never not with it because they're doing a great job. They feed me weekly. So that's definitely a plus. But to some people that may want something different, they don't have a choice. to get something different. And
Yes,
so understanding what a food desert is being able to obtain fresh food,
fresh.
not just fruit, but fresh food,
Yes,
you know, daily basis, and being to a place of being able to go there quickly. You know what I mean? In a place of low mileage to get there. Like one of her areas, Torch Hill, they would have to at least go. It takes them about they're about 5 miles from Walmart.
yes,
About 4 or 5 miles from Walmart.
yes,
So they're right on the border of. They're on the border. You know what I mean?
yes.
Of in Parkman. But if you got somebody that don't have a car, they're now in it. You know what I mean?
And if you want to get technical, that Walmart is not actually District 7. I know it borders there,
Mm-hmm.
both, but if you want to get technical, it's District 3. So
Right.
therefore, District 7 only have 2, and not even a major chain. Well, Piggly Wiggly is, I guess, considered a
Yeah, for the South.
major chain. Yeah, for the South.
Mhm.
So those are the only 2 that we have in the district.
Right.
So you said 3 on your side. We only have 2 to share with some, just like I just told you all how large our district is. I was naming out the different areas,
Mhm.
and those are
Yeah.
the only 2 that
Right.
we even have. And
Well, you got 3. You got the one uptown. The what's that? Rainbow on Hamilton Road. Remember we was
That's not
talking about it?
yeah, that's not that's not district. The
Oh, it's
one
not District 7?
that's
Okay,
not
well,
District
there you
7.
go.
Yeah,
There
you
you go.
have
So
one up there. You also have Aldi that's right out there, but that's not District
okay,
7.
wow. So
So
yeah, you
the
really have one
district alone,
grocery store for
yeah,
your district.
yeah. Well, 2. We have the Piggly Wiggly on 13th Street, and
Uh-huh.
then we have the Piggly Wiggly on South Lumpkin Road.
On the road, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of tells you what we look like in this area, and being able to recognize what a food does, recognize the needs of our people, and want to do something about it. One of the things I want to do, as we mentioned, the stores that are allowing EBT cards to be used, the blunt beer and lotto stores, is providing our area with some fresh fruit. It doesn't take nothing to set aside a basket of bananas, apples, oranges, onions, and things of that nature that can be maintained for a period of a week, and then if have to be discarded. You know what I mean? But I'm quite sure if it was there as an option, we can utilize, especially if you're utilizing the EBT card. And EBT card shouldn't just be to buy chips and soda in a store. You know what I mean? So being able to say, hey, this is some of the things that we need to have in our community, and working with those stores. You know what I mean? And working with those stores so they can provide better services to our community and our kids. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
if your only thing they can get is candy and they can't afford to go to the dentist, we're killing them. You know what I mean? If they can only pack, if your quick snack is only can be a honey bun or something processed, we know our communities die of diabetes. We know they do suffering with high blood pressure because it can't get nothing else. You know what I'm saying? A quick snack is a process, something processed, and that's not right. You know what I mean? We have to be able to address that at a not just at a high level. We need to address it at a low level.
yes, yes. And I just agree, and that's the biggest thing. Our state, our city, give kickbacks to these larger corporations coming in to set up. I mean, something like that. Just implement something that these stores, these little mom and pop stores that we call them, can offer those fresh fruits at a affordable price, not having to, raise the price, because we're right back in square one by doing that. But giving them some type of kickback to say, hey, if you do this, then we can give you a tax break here, or we can give you some kind of, kickback on this end, because we're allowing you to spend this EBT in this store. So you should be, with the same mandate, allowing them to buy healthy snacks or healthy fresh fruit and vegetables or whatever. So that's the only thing I'm just adding, that
That's right.
it should be some sort of kickback. That's what I would like to see, or some tax breaks or something for them to choose to do these things within their stores.
Right. That's right. That's absolutely right. So, family, again, if you have any questions, if you could you please type them in the inbox so we can go ahead and we can answer whatever you may have. Thank you for everybody that has tuned in and out, that has been showing us some love just by sitting here listening. But if you have any questions that you want to ask me, ask us, um, ask Miss Ash, whatever you want to ask, please feel free to type it in so we can answer them. If not, we're gonna roll on and then we're gonna close out in a few because we've been rolling for an hour and 14 minutes. So great conversation.
Oh.
So and I hope that this is shared and you will take time to go back through it and listen to some of the answers that we put out there, some of the questions that we posed on ourselves to be able to answer. So thank you for everything. Thank you, Tanita. Thank you, Miss Mama Harris. Thank you for Michael Harper for tuning in and dropping a few lines. And thank you for everybody that has, like I said, that's in and out. But please feel free to ask the question, so we can, if anything that wasn't said, that we can do. You know what I'm saying? And the biggest thing too is that you have my vote. Thank you. Got a vote in. We got some votes in. That's old Green Wave over there. Green Wave. Nation. Y'all see the shirt. Y'all see it over there in the corner. But most definitely. So family, one of the biggest things one thing we do understand is that we have to work together in this. You know, we have to work together. And I'm gonna speak for me and Miss Ash real quick. We both realize that we must encompass each other to get this stuff done. You know, because not one person can change anything. One person can help another person. Go ahead. You muted out.
Oh no, I was just agreeing.
Okay. So yeah, not one person can just change anything by themselves. It takes the power of the people, because the power of the people are the ones who really influence the change in our community. And we have to be influencers of our community. We have to be influencers of the people that we put in charge of our community. You know, making sure that they're making the right decisions for us each and every day. You know, not just when it's voting time, or not when it's like I said, election time, not when it's back against the wall about certain things. We have to be effective and reflective in our community as leaders each and every day. Not just when you put it in office, but you as individuals have to be reflective leaders of what you want in the community, of the change that you want in your community. Yes. And that's what I'm about. I'm about being effective. We're about the power of we. Yes. Of what we can do as a community, what we can do, what can I do with you? You know what I mean? Because the funds can be there, the buildings can be there, everything can be in place. But if we're not there effectively together, willing to make the change together, none of it's going to work. Yes. The money's not going to work. The building's not going to work. The hooping and the hollering, the screaming, the falling out is not going to work if we're not willing to work it together. You know what I mean? We didn't get nowhere without doing it together. You know what I mean? Nothing has ever been successful in the world without somebody doing it with somebody else. You know what I mean? I even learned, even being married, there's no successful man without a woman by his side. They had to do it together. So, that's the same thing in our community. It has to be a community bondage. It has to be a community marriage. It has to be a village of people that's willing to make a change in their community. Yes. And willing to step up to the plate and say, we're going to do this together, and we're going to win and be successful together. Yeah, we're going to take some bumps. We're going to take some nicks. We're going to take some bruises. But together, like she said, you're looking down, you're looking to pick somebody up. You know what I mean? And that's the household I come from myself, too. My mom, she's always been an open door mom. I can't think of a time up until I moved up out of the house that she didn't have somebody stand helping somebody else, looking, pulling up. That was something always continuous in my household from any day I can remember. You know what I mean? And so, to keep that legacy going, you know what I mean, and spreading that around, that's what we got to do, community. That's what we have to do. District 3. That's what we have to do. District 7. You know what I mean? Because we're right there. Yes. We're right there together. We have an invisible line right there in the middle, but together we can cross over and make so many more things happen. You know what I mean? Because what one of my favorite lines by Martin Luther King is, what affects us one affects us all. So close across the street, if it's just across the street, it's still going to affect that person across the street. If it's down the street, it's going to affect us. Like I tell people, we have to know what we stay at, because we got to know what's affecting everybody else. You know what I mean? You don't want to be waiting to do something at the end, like sell your house. And you think because all the incidents happen on one area that it's not affecting you. And when you get ready to sell that house and they get ready, that person looks at the Zillow and sees that your community had 12 murders, but you say, oh, but it didn't happen over here. It doesn't make a difference. You're a part of that community. So that the value part, that part of those 12 murders that person can use to bid against you, saying, hey, I would love to buy the house, but you had 12 murders, but you saying, well, it didn't happen on my street, but it happened in your community. And if it happened in your community, guess what? It can happen on your street. You know what I mean? But if we don't do something collectively about it, keep turning a blind eye to what's happening in the community itself, it's going to happen on that street.
Yes.
You know, it's going to happen. You know, it's just like, you know, there's a lot of things in this world that a lot of people didn't believe it was going to ever happen. We never thought we'd be able to vote, but it happened. You know, it's men and women, there's black and white women, black men. So, you know, it was a time where we thought, hey, but it happened because it took enough people to make it happen. Just like this crime, things of that nature, it can happen anywhere. You know what I mean? So we all collectively have to work together to make sure things are working. If your community is nice and safe, look around and see what y'all are doing so we can go push it somewhere else. Hey, what are you doing in your community to make sure that it's safe over here? Because we need it to happen over here. You know, bring your knowledge, bring your expertise over there and plant your seed and let it manifest. You know, and so that's what I got is my close. You got anything, sis?
No, I echo what you're saying. You know, it's not a I thing. I'm not running. We are running.
Come on now.
I'm not in this. We are in this. It's not what I am going to do. What are we going to do? That's been it through the whole campaign. And okay, what are you going to do about this? I know you want to hear my voice and but I'm not going to tell you a lie. I'm not going to become a politician. I'm going to pose it right back to you. What are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit here and listen to what you tell me you want to do. And then we're going to come up with an action plan to make that happen.
Correct.
So I'm not going to make a broken promise. That's that's my stance on it. What are we going to do? We're in this together. So that, you know, I share the same resilience in the areas of crime that you share.
Mm-hmm.
I share the same, you know, lack of support that you share. My biggest thing is, like you were saying, in a nutshell, unification within a district.
Yeah.
Just because it's not happening in uptown or in your area, and it's happening on another area, at the end of the day, they're not gonna say, oh, that's uptown. They're gonna say that's District 7. Prime example, when they did the report last year and they said what was the highest amount of homicides, which district held the highest amount of homicides? They didn't say South Columbus. They didn't say, they said District 7. So you know what? If you're in the historic district, you're part of District 7. So it doesn't just make the South Side look bad, it makes District 7 look bad. Right. So what are we going to do about that? How are we going to come back and become unified? So that's just my thing. It's not an I, it's a we.
That's right. And that's what it is, family. So on May 24th, 2022, or beginning May 2nd to May 24th, 2022, get out and vote. If you see your names, you're going to see Ash, you're going to see Johnson.
Yes.
Vote. Yes. Ash and Johnson to District 3 and District 7.
Yeah, pulled up a sample ballot. I pulled up a sample ballot this past week, and Ash is the first name on the list.
What number am I?
I'm sorry?
What number am I? I'm at the bottom because I'm a Johnson.
You're not on my ballot.
Yeah, that's right.
I couldn't see.
Yeah,
so go to
send it to my mama. Mama, look.
Yeah, you know, I printed it out and all. But yeah, it's gonna show the full name, the full government issue name.
What's that full government name?
Lakeitha Elaine Asher. However you know me, it's in there. Some know me by L Elaine. Some call me Alana. It's still spelled Elaine. it's on there. So however you know me, and like I tell anybody, think of Los Angeles. You want to get there and see Los Angeles, look for LA.
There it is.
There you go. You can't go
You
wrong.
know, you went out too far. We can keep that short. Lower Alabama.
You know, you don't have to fly to Lower Alabama. A lot of people want to go somewhere you got to fly, so that's why I use Los Angeles there. But
that's right.
All jokes aside, though, Lakeitha will show up first on your ballot, and that doesn't mean, hey, you know, you don't have any other candidates out there that you know need to research or whatever. But I feel like I am closely related to and relatable to those in District 7. And, you know, if you want to find out more about me, I'm on all think Facebook, Instagram. My website is all voteforash.com. So if you would like to donate towards the campaign, because as you know, signs are not cheap, and all these things that we do, it does cost money. So if you would like to donate, if you want to even say, hey, I don't want to donate money, but I'll buy you some signs, you know, that'll work too.
I need to hold my cup out.
Yeah, but
for this cup to run it over.
Absolutely. If you want to donate via Cash App, we are on Cash App at voteforash.com. We're on PayPal, voteforash.com. We're also with our bank. If you want to contact me personally, I can give you a account number. You can donate directly through Zelle to the bank. So everything pretty much is simple for you. Vote for Ash. Remember, vote for Ash on May 24th. But I tell you again, like we started off, don't wait for May 24th to get here, because all kind of issues come up on that last day for some reason. You have right now, starting tomorrow, May 2nd through May 20th to vote. That way, if you go down there tomorrow, May 2nd, and they say, hey, your precinct has changed. I'm just giving an example. I don't think they'll just change it and not let you know, but they might tell you tomorrow your precinct has changed. That gives you the opportunity to find that information out and go the next day to vote. But different. You know, yes, we don't want you to wait. If you can, get out. If you can't, if you need a ride, just give us a call. I'm open. I'm willing. I'm available, you know, to take you to the poll if I have to. Just call. Just text or something. All my information is right there on the website, on Facebook. I don't use a dummy number. Everything you see out there, it comes directly to me or a member of my team. So just reach out. If nothing else, I just want you to vote. I want you to exercise your voice.
That's right. Your voice matters. And I just want to echo the small part. Cash App D14 District 3. So it's D1, the number 4, DS3. That's Cash App. That's PayPal. Even if you want to go on and you can't find me on Facebook, you type in the same thing. It's the same thing on Instagram. And then if you type it in on Google, it's going to take you straight to my website, which is DeMarco-D1Johnson.com. So go in there, check us out. You can link us in with all that. As far as money wise, like you said, we around here. So the donations are always welcome because they're definitely needed. And so please be willing, if you're willing to donate, volunteer. And if you want to volunteer to put out some door hangers, knock on some doors, we both can use that help. I know she can, I know I can. So like I said, everywhere I got has a hill behind it. Benning Hills, Bunker Hills, Cedar Hills. So Washington Heights, Carver Heights. So it's a lot of it's going to be some great calf muscle work. If y'all want some nice legs for the summer, come volunteer. My ear's going to get you through it. Torch Hill for her. So, and then she got the largest neighborhood in Columbus, Georgia. So, so it's some work to be done. So definitely you want to volunteer, please inbox us, hit us up. My numbers, and I'm quite sure her numbers are all on our websites. I answer my messages. I answer my phones. Both we got two phones, one for the streets, one for my mom and them. And so, let's just let us know. I mean, and then one thing that always helps out, but you can't do none of that, is your blessings.
Yes, I was just about to come back and say I was waiting till you finish, and I was going to say, if nothing else, if you can't give a dime, if you can't come out, if you're just sitting here watching it, I solicit all the prayers of the righteous that I can take, because that takes me even further. When you're not even knowing, and if you're just sending up a simple prayer, God give her strength, get encourager. You don't know how far something that simple goes. You don't know, going through this process, how many negatives you hear or how many no's you hear, and you have to still be encouraged. You have to still walk into a place and keep a smile on your face. We're not, I know I can personally say, I'm not immune to this. I've never went through this before, as far as, running for a political office in this magnitude. So it's all new. So, and it's pulling me out of a comfort zone that I've been in for years. So if nothing else, just praying, just your prayers, just that, and it doesn't have to be a long, drawn out, whatever, just simply, Lord, touch, Lord, bless, whatever you say, I receive it. And I, speak those blessings back upon you.
Amen. Amen. Amen, family. So with that being said, Miss Ash, thank you everyone for tuning in. Please take an opportunity to share what you've heard. If you heard something good that you think is worth somebody else hearing, please take an opportunity to share. Also, make sure you exercise your right to vote.
Yes.
Because regardless of, just vote. Vote at the end of the day. Make sure that you take an opportunity to vote and take the opportunity to study who you're voting for, so you can know that if they match up with what you believe in and what you need for your community. That's for everybody. That's whether it's us or whether it's somebody else. Make sure that you're exercising that right. And with that being said, we appreciate you. We love y'all. Many blessings to all of y'all. And we pray that whatever God's will is for your life, that you accept it and move forward in it.
Yes.
All right. And we